With 3 hours remaining before the NFL trade deadline, things are starting to heat up across the league. As we've already seen, Montez Sweat from the Commanders was traded for just a second-round pick to the Bears. It's already being reported that the San Francisco 49ers are seemingly very interested in potentially trading for Bears cornerback Jalen Johnson. But it is being reported right now from Ian Rappaport that the Commanders aren't done yet, and they could continue to make some moves. It was believed that with the trade of Montez Sweat, it was going to be one or the other between him and Young, Chase Young, that is, to be traded. But Ian Rappaport right now is reporting that the Commanders are still taking calls for potentially trading Chase Young. So as it's being reported, Chase Young is available for a trade. And now that is a very interesting scenario, especially for the San Francisco 49ers, who are rumored to be looking for edge help. So could the San Francisco 49ers potentially shift their focus to Chase Young? There was some rumblings that the 49ers were showing interest in Montez Sweat. Could they potentially shift their thoughts and ideas to maybe going after Chase Young? Maybe somehow Chase Young is a little more cost effective, more than Sweat. Maybe you could get him for a second round pick, which would be a late second. And the 49ers could work something out with Chase Young. Again, he would be essentially a rental player because he's not playing on the 5th-year option. The Commanders declined his 5th-year option. So that makes him a free agent at the end of this season and free to sign wherever he wants. Obviously, could re-sign an extension with the San Francisco 49ers, or the 49ers could potentially just bring him in on a rental type deal and let him go at the end of the year, or even theoretically tag and trade him if he plays well enough. But the 49ers just seemingly can't get a deal done with Chase Young. And to be fair, we understand that Chase Young has had some injury concerns. He obviously had the ACL injury. He missed a full season, and that obviously is a bit concerning. But also on the flip side, the San Francisco 49ers, Nick Bosa, reigning Defensive Player of the Year, had also suffered an ACL injury, and clearly he bounced back to become DPOY. So it remains to be interesting to see what the 49ers do in this scenario. When you look at what Chase Young has done this season, and I think he's missed one game, he has 35 pressures. That ranks 4th in the NFL. He has 24 quarterback hurries. That ranks 6th in the NFL. He has 5 sacks and a pass rush win rate of 20.4%. So he has proven this season that he is active and he can get after the quarterback. So maybe he's not as expensive as Montez Sweat. He's also younger than Montez Sweat by about 3 years. So maybe you could effectively work something out in that regard. But in regards to his pass rush win rate, that currently ranks 10th in the NFL amongst edge rushers. So he's up there. He has a better pass rush win rate than Montez Sweat. For example, Nick Bosa is sitting at 2 with a pass rush win rate of 25.3%. So Chase Young down there at 10th. Maybe that could be an option for the San Francisco 49ers to pivot to if Brian Burns is too expensive, which I would imagine. I'm still a big fan of them potentially going out and swinging for the fences and get Brian Burns if they can. But I do recognize Brian Burns is going to be expensive. And if they are in a situation where they do want to add Jalen Johnson and potentially a player like Chase Young, it was probably more cost effective to go that route than just adding one player. So it'll be interesting to see, but you guys let me know. Should the San Francisco 49ers be calling the Commanders and getting a price check on Chase Young. There's also other reports coming out that Patriots edge rusher Josh Uche is available as well. Now, he's had some productive seasons. I know he's dealing with a little bit of an injury situation, but he is available, and it sounds like the Patriots are shopping him really hard. So there are some edge players still out there of high quality. So do the 49ers look to add there? If I had to pick right now, obviously Brian Burns is my number one. However, like I discussed, he comes at a price. So if you could potentially get me Jalen Johnson and Chase Young opposed to just Brian Burns, I would definitely consider Jalen Johnson and Chase Young over Brian Burns at this point, just because if you can add a legitimate number one corner at the age of 24 years old, and you can add the former number two overall pick, who's also 24 years old, who's been dealing with some injury history, but that allows you to get him at a cost decrease. I think I'm okay. I think I would do that. I think I would do that. So, what would you do? How would you go about that? Would you consider, if you had to pick between the two options, would you pick Jalen Johnson and Chase Young or Brian Burns? I'm just posing that question out there as a hypothetical. Again, we've heard a lot of so far the reports to come out from the Panthers is that they don't really want to trade Brian Burns, but I think as we have seen, the 49ers are willing to get aggressive, and teams who've said they aren't in the business of trading players have traded players in the past. So I like to bring that up. Just for example, the famous one is Dave Gettleman coming up to the podium and telling the entire New York media that we didn't sign Odell Beckham Jr. to trade him. And then famously, not too long right after that, they traded him to the Browns. 49ers were actually in the discussion for OBJ trade as well. So that's why I'm just putting it out there. Just because a team says, we're not really in the business right now, potentially trading this player, every player has a price. We've heard Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch talk about that. Kyle said if the 49ers ever got a good enough trade package for Kyle, that he would be okay with John trading him, vice versa. So I think anything is possible, but obviously the likelihood of certain situations, such as the Brian Burns, might be smaller than other trade day scenarios. But it does feel like if the 49ers wanted to get Chase Young or Josh Uche, they could absolutely do that. So it'll be interesting to see what the 49ers do. But you let me know in the comments below what you think the 49ers should do as the trade deadline gets set to expire at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And make sure that you got post notifications on and you're ready to go, because the second something drops, we are going live to the channel. We are posting all the content everywhere. So make sure you are locked in. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.